All right, welcome everybody. Thank you for joining us today. My cell phone tells me it's 11:30, so that must mean it's time to get started. And I know people are going to be joining in as we go here, but we wanted to thank you for joining us today and honor your time commitment. So um, the Chamber of Commerce is very excited to be hosting this virtual State of the Community event today. We've been very active since COVID-19 hit. We've been putting out all kinds of great content, webinars, virtual networking. There's a whole bunch of content at our website under the webinar page that we've been cataloging for people so that you can go back and take a look at it at any time. And so we encourage you to do that. But today, we're very excited. We have a lot of our city officials with us today. Of course, we'll be hearing a little bit later from our Mayor, Matt Hall, but we also have Mayor Pro Tem Keith Blackburn, City Council Member Corey Schumacher, and City Council Member Priya Bhat Patel. Thank you for joining us. We also have our County Supervisor for our district, Jim Desmond, who may be joining us today, as well as we might have some mayors from some of the neighboring cities joining in, and we're welcome all of those. There's a few of our department heads from the city of Carlsbad who have signed up to join us as well. Thank you to our city manager, Scott Chadwick, assistant city manager, Gary Barbario, chief innovation officer, David Graham, and if I missed a couple, I apologize. Events like this don't happen without sponsors. So we're very grateful to our presenting sponsor, Wells Fargo. Wells Fargo has been extremely active since COVID hit. They are the largest SBA lender in the country. And so they've been very active in doing PPP loans, as well as all the other SBA programs to try and support small business and help business survive and get through these challenging times. And we have a very short video from our sponsor that we'd like to share with you right now.
2020 has been the year of the unthinkable, but a moment like this can bring us together to rethink the way forward. So Wells Fargo is using some of our locations as drive-up food banks to help provide 50 million meals for Americans in need, donating all the roughly $400 million in PPP processing fees to support nonprofits assisting small businesses, and committing $1 billion to help put an end to the housing affordability crisis. The unthinkable has happened. Now it's time to rethink how to make a difference.
The unthinkable has happened, and we appreciate Wells's commitment to the community as well as their commitment to our programs here locally. We also have some other sponsors we'd like to thank today. Scripps Healthcare and Tri-City Medical Center, who will both be participating in our panel discussions, as you can imagine, have also been very active during the COVID pandemic. So we are very grateful for their commitment to the Chamber and for being involved with us for many, many years. And then we have several partner sponsors that we'd like to highlight as well. AT&T, Grand Pacific Resorts, Nordson Corporation, San Diego Gas and Electric, Solitude International, Viasat, and Waste Management. We appreciate all of you very much, and we thank you for sticking with us as we've had to pivot our programming from an in-person luncheon. Last year, we were at the Westin in Carlsbad, and there were 500 of you together for this great event. And of course, here we are today, all staring at our digital device, trying to recreate something of a similar experience. So thank you to all these sponsors. And then I can't do what I do without my great board of directors. These board members help support everything we do here and make it all possible. And they represent small business, large business, at-home business, large manufacturing, and everything in between. And I'm grateful for all of them. So the way the programming is going to work today is we are going to have breakout panel discussions. All of you signed up for a panel discussion when you first registered, and the first breakout room will be for the business panel, and our moderator to help lead a discussion on the effects of COVID on our business community will be Mr. Matt Leonard. Matt is the chairman of our board of directors, and he's from Edward Jones. Our second breakout room will be our education team, and these guys will be sharing how their educational institutions have adjusted and pivoted to serve their particular audiences. And the moderator for the education panel will be Catherine Magana. She's chair-elect for the board of directors, and she's from WWM Financial. And our third breakout room will be myths of COVID-19 in the world of healthcare. And that will be moderated by our city manager from the city of Carlsbad, Mr. Scott Chadwick. And just as a programming note to everybody, we will be recording all of these breakout rooms. So when you go to your breakout room, if you're thinking, oh man, I also would like to know what they're saying in education or in business or whatever the case might be, we're recording all three. And as a registered attendee of this event, you will get a link to the videos after the event so that you can see the full content that you might not have got to participate in because you were in a different breakout room. So no worries there. Moderators, just a quick note to you as we go to the breakout rooms here in just a second. When you go in, my staff members will mute everybody, and then you will need to unmute yourself and then go ahead and give a little introduction to yourself and then jump into introducing our panelists that you have in your particular discussion group. And just a final warning for those of you who haven't done a lot of breakout rooms on Zoom, when you get near the end of your time in your breakout, you might see something pop up on your screen that says, your breakout's going to end in 60 seconds. Don't click the button that says leave the breakout room, because then you'll get thrown out immediately. But in the upper right-hand corner, you can just click the X and that box will go away. And when your breakout's over, you will be returned to the main room with everybody. And then we will have, of course, our keynote presentation at that time. So I think that's all. Oh, and nope, that's all I'm going to say. So we're going to jump into our breakouts now. And so Kathy, go ahead and take us away.
All right, we're having a little technical difficulty, even though the rooms were pre-assigned. Only about a handful of people went into the rooms. So it will take me a minute to sort everybody into rooms.
No problem, no problem. Like I said, these things can have little technical difficulties. As Kathy gets us assigned and then sends us into our breakout room, you will see a little box come up on the center that says join breakout room. So please click that, otherwise you won't go into a breakout room. So just be aware that that's coming here in just a minute or two. And then, as I mentioned, we have been very, very active at the Chamber as after COVID appeared on the scene. We have done webinars on programming materials, on the changing landscape coming from the state and the county. And I wanted to give just a quick shout out on Monday morning, this coming Monday, we are doing a joint webinar with the City of Carlsbad and the Carlsbad Village Association, updating businesses on the latest and greatest, and especially the main topic for the webinar on Monday will be the city's economic stimulus program that they have put together and have been fine-tuning. So that'll be a topic. And then we have a couple of other things as well to discuss. So if your business has applied for that funding through the City of Carlsbad, you might want to jump on that.
Hey,
Kathy,
Daryl.
we're getting closer. Kathy, we can all hear you, just so you know.
Okay. Yeah, I'm getting closer. There's just a lot of people to sort, so give me a second.
No problem. And then I'm going to introduce one other thing while I have your attention. I'm waiting to go into the breakout rooms. The Chamber is partnering with the City of Carlsbad, the Carlsbad Village Association, and Visit Carlsbad on a new innovative program that is going to be an economic stimulus program for our restaurants and retailers. You're going to see more about this coming out very shortly, but this is it's a gift card program, and we're going to allow, obviously we're going to have consumers like yourself who could purchase gift cards in different amounts. And when you purchase a gift card, let's say for instance for $40 to restaurant A or restaurant B, then we're gonna give you a bonus $10 gift card on top of that 40. So your 40 is gonna become a net value of $50. And as I mentioned, the Chamber, through our Ready Carlsbad Business Alliance and our Chamber Foundation, is going to be working with the City of Carlsbad and other entities who want to support this initiative so that we can help put money into our retailers and into our restaurants' pockets now when they need it. And then, of course, the consumer who purchases that gift card can redeem it at whatever time is convenient for them, whether that's right away or 6 months from now or whenever. So that's a new program you're going to hear more about very soon, and we're very excited to be part of that program and participating as well as coordinating it. I am going to introduce Shafiq. Shafiq is from Wells Fargo, and as I mentioned already, they are our title sponsor. Shafiq, if you could turn your screen on and turn your, go back one slide, there we go. Shafiq, turn your camera on and your microphone on, and then I'm going to let you go ahead and introduce our keynote speaker today.
Sure, can you see me?
Perfect.
All right, perfect. Thank you, Brad. And thank you to the entire staff at the Chamber of Commerce for putting this together today. Wells Fargo is a proud sponsor of presenting today's event, State of the Community. And it is my pleasure to introduce the keynote speaker today, Mayor Matt Hall. Mayor Hall has been a mayor of the city of Carlsbad since 2010. And previous to serving as a mayor, he served as a city council member from 1994 to 2010. During this time, he has served on every major regional government association, including SANDAG. Mayor Hall also has been the owner and operator of the business in the city of Carlsbad and North County since the 70s. He's a lifetime resident of the city of Carlsbad, and he is a Carlsbad Village property owner. He's married to Phyllis. They have 3 children and 2 grandchildren. Mayor Hall, thank you for joining us today, and I'm turning the floor over to you.
Well, I would like to thank everyone this morning for coming to this event. Brett, my heart goes out to you. Every day is a learning day, and we're all in this together. And I think that's going to be part of my theme today, is that we're all in this together. I'd just like to begin by thanking you, Brett, and Matt Leonard, chairman of the board, and the business community for making this time available for the city to talk a little bit about all the great things that we've been able to accomplish over this past year. And I'm going to go on to speak about how well we are starting working in a very, very close relationship. First, I want to recognize David Harrison and all that he has done to get us ready or being part of the COVID-19. And to David's credit, he actually had COVID-19 on his radar way back in January of this year. And it was through his efforts, CERT, the senior patrol, our police, and our fire department that helped make us very prepared for what we're going through today. He was reaching out to the senior community way back in February to make sure that they were all prepared for what might be coming to our community and our nation. So David, I can't thank you enough for what you've done in our community, and all those are part of your team. It's no one individual. It really takes a team effort to make things happen. And just to regress for a moment, if I could, I would like to also thank our former mayor, our past mayor, Mayor Lewis, our former city manager, Ray Pachette, and former city council members, because disaster preparedness dates way back almost 15 years or longer in this city. And we know how important it is to be prepared for major events such as COVID or the Point City of fire. So I just, again, want to acknowledge them and for all what they have done. Hopefully, I'm going to try and keep my comments brief today. I know time's valuable, and I really appreciate being put at the front of the agenda. That really has made my day. Also, I think what doesn't go unnoticed, and I can't tell you how many positive comments I've had about Scott Chadwick, our city manager, and all that he's been able to do through social media and many other means to keep us all informed about what is happening with COVID. And he's done this on at least a daily, some daily events through social media and others. And when you think about the information that's being given out, throughout this region, I think we are truly a leader in being able to disseminate current information. I also would like to thank Tina and her team for all that she has done through social media and by other means of getting out just a whole host of information into the community. I would also take a moment to thank Jim Desmond and Kristen Gaspar for all that they do on a daily basis in helping in Carlsbad in many, many different ways. Also, what I think is important too is how we as a council have interacted with the city and the chamber and the Merchants Association. And it started with the beginning of COVID, and the city put together a full-time team of employees, of our Chief Innovation Officer, David Graham, our Economic Manager, Matt Sanford, and Joe Stewart, to work directly with the businesses here in Carlsbad, most importantly, the Chamber and the Village Merchants Association. And it would literally take me an hour to explain how close that relationship has been and how much I personally, and I think the city has learned, not only about how business works, but hopefully you've learned what the strengths of the city are and how we can blend those to really become a high-performing community. One of the things that we've been able to do is we've actually reached out and personally helped 500 local businesses to navigate through some of these challenging moments in time. We created a business website, business@carlsbad.gov. Again, that's business@carlsbad.gov. It's the city's website, carlsbad.gov, and then click COVID to get into the business icon. The city, and I thank my colleagues, Keith Blackburn, Dr. Bob Patel, and Ms. Schumacher for their help in setting aside $5 million for a revitalization package that we've worked with the community for loans. We've also put $250,000 into a marketing program, working closely with the hoteliers and in many other ways. And for myself, I can't explain enough how our daily working relationship with Brett and Christine Davis with the Merchants Association and working through some of the really challenging moments. But I think, again, that's brought us closer together to know and understand on a daily basis where we're at, what we need to do, and how do we accomplish that working together. I also like to thank Councilperson Priyabat Patel and David Graham in our Economic Committee. We've met over 16 times, almost on a weekly basis, after listening to the chamber webinars and surveys and so on and so forth, to be as proactive as possible in trying to make change or help those in the community the best we can. We've actually had 54 businesses, including restaurants, hairstylists, shops, fitness facilities, and churches that have utilized our program. We've also worked with our partners on the Innovate 78 group on things like homelessness and trying to keep business here in Carlsbad. Carlsbad business community is really second to none. In addition to our traditional small business community, which makes up 80 or 90% of our businesses, Carlsbad continues to be a destination for innovative companies. companies in the life science sector, Thermo Fisher, Active Motif, Genmark Diagnostics, and others who've helped us with COVID-19 and the worldwide response. Carlsbad also have many innovative companies that want to be here. For example, even during the pandemic, companies like Milpor, Sigma, Genmark Diagnostics, and Alphatec Spine have announced their expansions. Others have joined too. Most recently, Copan, in partnership with Apple and Lineage, have announced a new site here in Carlsbad. TaylorMade, and we've heard that the golf industry has somewhat been in the slump over the past few years, has actually rebounded, and some of their sales numbers today are far greater than they were in years past. In general business support, one of the major things every year that I talk about is construction. This year, we have permitted more than 372,000 square feet in new commercial and industrial space. And 611 companies, more companies have called Carlsbad home. We now have almost 6,000 businesses located here in Carlsbad. We've also had 4 companies in Carlsbad that have secured $8.8 million in tax credits, which will fuel 300 new jobs. Also, there have been many companies that have excelled not only here in the community, but in the nation. Viasat was named one of the Glassdoor best places to work, and the village of Junajole was named the best restaurant in the region by the San Diego Union Tribune. Also, things that are happening in and around the village, for instance, Fresco's in the village not only has expanded into the parking lot, but they're also adding a second deck. Oak Elixir is on State Street. They're expanding into the become a curbside location, along with Cicciotti's on Grand and Roosevelt. Also, our Biotech and Beyond, which started here about 10 years ago in the Farmers Building, is expanding with a $3 million grant to build a new facility in the industrial park south of the airport. Our key employers in our industry leaders today in sports, innovation and design, clean technology, technology and communication, life sciences and hospitality. Many of these industries have been resilient through this pandemic and have provided for Carlsbad maintaining high-paying jobs right here in our own community. In fact, because of these types of businesses and our key industry sectors that attract innovative employees to Carlsbad and has maintained a lower employment rate than in any other part of this region or the state. Carlsbad has about 11% unemployment at this moment. The region is about 13.9 and the state is about 14.9. And we can all remember a year ago when it was less than 3%. One of our leading industries, the hospitality and tourism industry, we all know has been hit quite severely over this past 6 months, but I'm proud to say that 38 out of our 41 hoteliers are reopened, with welcoming guests back here to Carlsbad. The Park Hyatt will reopen in September, about September 18th. They have just recently spent $50 million in renovation. They have 2 restaurants, new restaurants, one the Pacific Perch, and it will also open around the 18th, and a new signature restaurant that will open in November. The Argyle restaurant is currently open. The Sheraton is open with a new menu at the 7 Mile Kitchen. It's expansive outdoor eating and it has a great menu to grab and go. We also have 2 new hotels located that are just opening up this fall. One is the Spring Suites by Marriott in the Village with 104 rooms, and Home 2 Suites by Hilton off Palomar Airport Road. Just a moment about our budget. Carlsbad has a long-time standing commitment to financial health. We've been able to respond to COVID-19 and ensure that we're prepared for the future. In June, the City Council passed a budget of $184.5 million. We did see a $16 million decrease in our projections for this year's budget, a $6 million drop in sales tax, and a $10 million drop in TOT tax. But remember, these are just projections. The bottom line, our business contribute 60% of the city's general operating fund through one form of taxation or another. One of the things that makes Carlsbad special, and make no mistake about it, is its financial support we get from business that contribute to the high level quality of life we expect and receive as a company doing business in Carlsbad or a resident living here. So my message to you, eat in Carlsbad, buy in Carlsbad, and stay in Carlsbad. We also still have strong financial reserves in our budget. Currently, all told, it's close to $97 million. Any more than just keeping the lights on, we are continuing to invest in our top priorities. And one of those priorities is in traffic. Traffic, I know, is a concern for all of us. One of the things that you're going to see this year is the Poinsettia Lane. The last missing link of that will be open here in hopefully the end of October, which will help relieve congestion off of Palomar Airport Road and La Costa Ave. And I want to thank Lennar Homes for building this missing link. And again, another contribution from the building community in Carlsbad. When you think of infrastructure, you have to think of our business community or our developers, because they've helped create almost 60% or more of our infrastructure. Also on State Street in the village, we have just completed a project, the storm drain project there. It actually came in under budget and a month ahead of time. And I would like to thank a local company, Burtech Pipeline, for what they've done there and the great job that they've done. Housing is also concerned, and homelessness. In the city of Carlsbad, we do have our HOT team, our homeless outreach team. We doubled the size of that team, and we now have Sergeant Gary Marshall heading that group with 4 dedicated officers, and recently hired social worker, Holly Nelson. They're a 24-hour-a-day response now and are doing a fantastic job. And this model is really a leader, not only in this region, but in the nation. Another entity, La Posada Guadalupe, the homeless facility that's been here since the 90s. We're investing with them about $86,000, I'm sorry, $58,000 to help double their size and capacity for, it's a homeless shelter for men that's located out near the safety training facility. We also, this past week, have started a survey to seek the community's needs and values and priorities for our new housing update for our arena numbers that we have to have completed by next year, and we're on track to do that. Technology, we have invested in a new high-speed network that will save the city $250,000 annually in broadband costs. We have developed a new app which is about to launch, making it easier to report service requests such as potholes and the like. We've also launched a new utility billing system in March that is not only more efficient, but will help alert you and customers to potential water leaks. In the environment, we have been working diligently in that area. The most important thing we've accomplished here this past year was the cities of Solana Beach and Del Mar coming together to form the Clean Energy Alliance. This alliance will provide an option for local customers to purchase power from the more renewable sources starting in 2021, other than gas. It would be in place of San Diego Gas and Electric. Towards my final comments, there's 2 areas that I want to make the business community aware of. One is on this November ballot. It's Prop 15. First, it's titled Tax on Commercial and Industrial Properties for Education and Local Government Funding Initiatives. And the Chamber's heard me speak about this in my last year's State of the Community address. I'm also mentioning it this year because it has qualified. In short, this undoes a key element of the 1978 Prop 13 tax initiative. I'm calling it the 1-2 punch for business. The first punch being COVID and the impact it's had over this past year, including our businesses and the community. The second punch for some business, and this could very easily be the knockout punch, is that of Prop 15. So in short, I would ask all of you to look closely at this initiative. This will really make a difference in areas such as our village and others, and what they will pay in rents in the up and coming years. So I would ask each of you as business people to do the math and see how it will impact each and every one of you financially. Also, at a more local level, 5 big moves is Sandag vision. That has also gives me concerns because of how it is wanting to deal with mobility. Their move is strictly or focused, I won't say strictly, but focused on transit and other means of mobility besides vehicle transportation. Here in North County, it's imperative that we take a closer look. I-5, when it was originally designed, was looking at 16 lanes. Sandag approved 14 lanes. After Senator Kehoe and the Kehoe Bill 468, it was reduced to 12 lanes. It's my belief now that the new model is down to 10 lanes. And beyond that, you will pay a fee to travel on all major highways. The same goes for 78 and the expansion of 78. It too is in question. And again, you will pay a fee to travel on these roads. It's not clear yet, but you might also be paying a fee to travel on major arterials. So from a business perspective, not only you and your families, but your workers and how they travel, this could have a tremendous impact. And I would like to thank Jim Desmond and Kristen Gaspar again for calling this out, that this isn't what was needed today in North County. Everyone believes in transit. We all want to work towards transit, but any of you who travel on Highway 78 or on I-5 know the importance and the need for those road expansions. My closing theme for today is I want you all to take a moment and remember back to 2004. The chair of the Carlsbad Chamber of Commerce, who then was Jeff Siegel, had the motto to ensure Carlsbad's quality of life only increased with time, that it was unity in community. And what I've seen over this past 6 months is truly how this city has come together to unite, not only on COVID, but to help small business, to help our community stay safe. I can't begin to thank everyone, but for the Chamber, Brett, for the city, Scott and your team, Christine Davis and the community, and most importantly, also the citizens of Carlsbad for what you've done to try and keep safe. Remember, it just truly is unity in community. Be safe, watch your distancing, keep your mask on, and most importantly, have a positive attitude as we move forward. So Brett, at the moment, do you want to ask me questions? Or I'm not sure, how did I do on time? Did I pick up my hour?
You did fine on time. Since we've completely, thrown off the agenda a little bit, what we'd like to do is in the chat feature, if you had a question for the mayor, if you could put it in chat, We only have time for a couple of questions. We won't be taking an exhaustive list, but if you had a particular question that you would like answered, we're gonna let you type that into the chat right now, and we can do that for a moment or two before we go into the next phase. Anything, anybody? So you mentioned that our revenue's down on quite a few areas. So tourism, of course, is a biggie, and we make a significant revenue on tourism. What's the forecast looking like for 2020? You know, well, your fiscal year is July 1st to June 30. So for the 2020-21 fiscal year, what's the forecast looking like for tourism?
Well, tourism will probably be down close to 50%, we believe, and working its way back. There's a lot of factors that play into that. It's not only COVID, but it's also the economy and what the economy might be over the next few years. It also has to do with business. Is business going to come to Carlsbad for their conferences? So even in tourism has at least 3 different components. So we're really having to rebuild those. So it is going to take a period of time. In talking to the hoteliers, they're thinking it could be 2023, 2024 to try to get back to what we had last year.
So somebody asked, will the flexibilities with external dining remain, you know, post the pandemic, post the, you know, the emergency declaration?
You know, I really, that's a good question. And there's a lot of change happening right now. And I think a lot of positive change. What's that word, Zoom? You know, how will Zoom play into the future of all of us in business and what that might mean? But as a city council, we really haven't looked at what that may or may not be into the future. I think most people would be happy to get back to what we're experiencing up to January of this year. I'm just thankful that we as the community, the city, and the businesses have allowed the restaurateurs to stay alive by some means. And, you know, you travel through the village and see how many people are out and about in parking lots and so on. You know, we're trying to keep people in business, and that's our focus.
Yeah. And then one last question, and then we'll move to the next portion of our event today. There's significant positive economic impact from the life science industry across the state, and given the presence of large and small biotech and medical device companies here in Carlsbad, how do you factor them into your economic forecasting models?
I think that's one of the bright areas, and I really today, and this is for you, Brett. My speech was over 30 pages. It had 3 or 4 on life sciences and data points on life science and how well they're doing. I highly abbreviated that for you, but that industry is only going to explode in the very near future. And you can't imagine, even Merck is moving here. One of the big businesses out of Europe is even locating here in Carlsbad also. So I see that as one of the, you know, the future greats of industry.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much for your time and for being flexible and being prepared. So we had to move you up in the agenda due to some technical difficulties. So we're going to actually pivot now. And David Harrison, if you are out there, we would love for you to turn your camera on, unmute yourself, and we are going to introduce you. David Harrison, as the mayor highlighted at the very beginning of his discussion today, or his presentation, David Harrison is the Assistant Director of Emergency Services for the City of Carlsbad. And he's also the co-chair of our Ready Carlsbad Business Alliance Committee, and he is going to be doing an Emergency Preparedness Award today. David has coordinated the city's response to the H1N1 flu pandemic, the 2010 Kelly Elementary School active shooter attack, the 2011 Southwest Regional Power outage, and the 2014 Poinsettia fire. Now you can go ahead and add COVID-19 to that list in 2020 that he's coordinated. David's the co-founder. He's one of the co-founders of the Ready Carlsbad Business Alliance. He's taught in National University's Homeland Security Emergency Management Program and Cal State San Marcos's Business Preparedness Program. He's the past president of the Carlsbad High Noon Rotary Club. He's a retired captain in the U.S. Navy, and he enjoys living and working in Carlsbad. David, we would love for you to come onto the screen.
So Brett, if you can hear me, a thumbs up, please. And if my screen is showing, another thumbs up, very good. Well, thank you for that very kind, generous introduction. Far too much about me. I want to go back to the mayor's comment and thank him for that acknowledgement. But it has been about the team. It's been about the team since day one. It's been about the team since day one in the COVID outbreak. The team, the strategic direction of that team is established by the mayor and the council members. The daily leadership of the staff is provided by the city manager, assistant city manager, deputy city managers, and certainly our public safety chiefs and our city attorney, our communications director and economic development director. So many people, strong, smart individuals coming together to help this city and our community through this particular pandemic and other potential hazards that we'll talk a little bit about. But good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, community. It's really an honor for me to be here. Let me speak a little bit about Ready Carlsbad Business Alliance. The Ready Carlsbad Business Alliance is a relationship between the city of Carlsbad, the Carlsbad Chamber of Commerce, and local businesses. Our mission is to promote business emergency preparedness, continuity of operations, and community recovery. This past October, the Ready Carlsbad Business Alliance partnered with another regional preparedness organization, InfraGard San Diego, and along with others, sponsored the region's first earthquake symposium, drawing experts from across the Western states and attracting over 300 participants. We learned just last month that the Earthquake Symposium was a highlight, resulting in InfraGard San Diego's receiving a national award, specifically the 2020 InfraGard National Award for Community Outreach. So I'd like to thank our chamber president, Brett, for his vision and willingness to support our partner preparedness organization. Thank you. Moving on, we'd like to thank the Carlsbad Chamber, the city, and all business representatives and community members for your continuing support for the Ready Carlsbad Business Alliance. When emergencies strike, we know we can count on you for your support. And this year, on top of COVID-19, certainly we've experienced heat, the rolling power outages, and if you can recall, back in the early spring and April, some significant weather and flooding. And I just want to say we need to pay attention to and be mindful of the potential for devastating wildfires this coming fall when the Santa Ana winds blow. We've seen so much of these fires already throughout the state of California. Because of potential hazards like these, for the past 7 years, Ready Carlsbad has recognized organizations with Emergency Preparedness Award. This award recognizes and promotes the importance of business emergency preparedness planning. This year, we would like to recognize a community sector that has disproportionately suffered from the ravages of COVID-19, that of senior assisted living and congregate care, including long-term care and residential care facilities. There are over 30 such facilities in Carlsbad. We would like to commend all of you for your tireless dedication and skill in serving those most vulnerable to this pandemic, our elderly, our loved ones. Regular contact has been maintained with Carlsbad congregate care facilities throughout this pandemic. This engagement has found facility administrators and staff to be exceptionally involved, professional, and capable. This engagement has also yielded an understanding of facility COVID-19 mitigation and response plans and practices. First, let me stress, we'd like to recognize the professionalism and exceptional health care provided by all of the long-term care and residential care facilities we have engaged in our community. But I'm here today to recognize one standout facility and administrator. While much of what I say is shared praise for all congregate care professionals serving on the front lines of this pandemic, thank you all for serving our community so well. One collectively epitomizes all of your dedication and devotion to our elderly and medically fragile, and deserves this special recognition. Early during the COVID-19 outbreak, this congregate care administrator played a leadership role in assisting to define the city's engagement with residential and long-term care facilities. This administrator helped to identify medical, mental health, and other support needs Carlsbad facilities could benefit from. He guided the city's effort to help smaller facilities with limited resources by offering his knowledge as a subject matter expert, and was instrumental in linking other facilities with industry resources such as the California Assisted Living Association. His staff ensured the protection of their residents and staff themselves, and steadfastly worked to ensure compliance with the state guidance, county public health orders, and Centers for Disease Control protocols. The staff proactively implemented COVID-19 infection control procedures, which, according to state community healthcare licensing, has allowed for no reported COVID-19 cases among staff or residents to date. Since early March, the facility staff has given extra assistance to its residents' mental health to help relieve the stress of COVID-19 related isolation. This facility implemented virtual visits for residents, providing a safe environment for family members to visit with their loved ones, and even hired dog walkers to support resident dogs so they could be cared for. So it is my pleasure to announce that the Las Villas de Carlsbad team, under the leadership of Charlie Bloom, has provided a positive, supportive, and caring home for its residents and workplace for its staff during the COVID-19 pandemic, and is this year's recipient of the Ready Carlsbad Commitment to Emergency Preparedness Award. I am sure you are sharing my enthusiasm in congratulating Las Villas de Carlsbad and Charlie Bloom. Charlie, I hope you're still with us today. Congratulations. And Carlsbad community, stay safe, stay healthy, do what you already know is right during COVID-19, and please prepare for the wildfire season to come. I'll now turn it back over to Brett, who I understand is prepared to play a short video. Thank you all again.
Thank you, David. Yes, we do have a short video of Las Villas de Carlsbad. Congratulations. Go ahead, Edgar, and push play.
We are not what we do for a living. We recognize that what you do for a living doesn't define you. What defines you is your contribution to the life of those people that live at Las Villas de Carlsbad, which means that the most important person that works there would be the housekeeper or the dishwasher or the janitor or the caregiver, and not necessarily the management. Happy people provide great care. It's the happiness of the staff, it's the hominess of the environment that makes Las Villas de Carlsbad special, because the people that work there are special, and they enrich the lives of the seniors that we care for. If you cannot make a difference in somebody's life, what's the point? Our number one priority is making a difference in people's lives. And by people, we don't mean the customer, the resident. By people, we mean each other. Our employees' number one responsibility is not necessarily to the resident, to the customer, it's to one another. Caring is something you do for each other first. And if we care about one another and we want to help one another, that makes the world of difference to each other. And because making a difference is our mission, then it's easy to make a difference in the lives of the seniors that we serve if we're making a difference in each other's lives, isn't it? So not only are we proud of the fact that Las Villas de Carlsbad takes care of our seniors in Carlsbad, we're proud that the people that live in Carlsbad work in Carlsbad, and that we are an organization that gives back to the city in the form of merchandise. That we shop Carlsbad, we live in Carlsbad, and we're an integral part of the city, and we're happy and we're proud of that.
All right, well, congratulations to Las Villas de Carlsbad. We do have your award right here that you will get to receive very shortly. So congratulations for that. And we are going to go to our breakouts now. So thank you for sticking with us. When we come back from our breakouts at about 1 or 1:05, we do have just a brief video from the city to share. It's only about 5 minutes long that we will share, and we'll wrap up at that point. So Kathy, please send us away into breakouts. All right. I think most of you are back from your breakouts. I hope you had as good of a breakout as I did. I was in the healthcare, the myths about COVID-19 and the healthcare breakout was fantastic. If you were in a different breakout, I highly recommend that you watch the video of the panelists. And I look forward to watching the videos of the other 2 panel discussions that took place as well, because all the panelists were phenomenal. I want to thank everybody for being here and putting up with our little technical difficulties. Special thanks to our panelists and moderators. Again, thank you to our sponsors. We can't do this without you. Thank you to my amazing staff who pivoted. We're going to close out today with our message of being safe and open and encouraging you to mask up, keep some physical distance, wash your hands a ton. And we're gonna switch to the closing video, which is from the city of Carlsbad. It's 5 or 6 minutes long, and it'll close out our program today. So Edgar, feel free to cue video. Thank you, everybody, for joining us today. We really appreciate it. I hope you enjoyed the program as much as we did. Thank you to our mayor and all our guest presenters, our panelists, and everybody. God bless you all. Have a great weekend. We'll see you soon on Zoom. Be safe. Get out there, support local business, support Carlsbad, shop local.